That's a great bounce back win. Beating a team like that on the road obviously shows a ton of character from the team. The second half, we came in at halftime, and I felt like we started the game with a lot of focus. But as the half wore on, we got really sloppy with the ball. We had 14 turnovers in the first half. And that caused our communication, our effort to dip on the defensive side. But we came out in the second half, allowed 14 paint points, and only had 5 turnovers. And that's how you win on the road. We gave up 50 points in the second half. I thought the team was really connected. A ton of really, really good individual performances as well that deserve to be highlighted. First of all, I thought Ace had some really big possessions late in the game. Both defensively, had a couple of offensive rebounds that were big plays for us. Really contributed to the win tonight. Keontae had 25 in the second half. Obviously a big third quarter, hit some big shots late. His ability to create offense for us continues to show itself, especially when the game slows down. I thought Lowry was rock solid. And then after last game where we got hammered on the glass, we win the glass by 20 tonight. And I thought the team made a really concerted effort on both sides of the ball to rebound. And I thought Nurk and Lowry, had big nights. Nurk had 17 rebounds, Lowry 12. Nurk continues to be kind of one of the unsung guys on our team. What he does for our group with his physicality, not just on the glass, but I thought he made a couple big plays around the basket defensively, and then he continues to help us create the advantage with his screening. So overall, a really, really high-level team win. To bounce back like that after last game really shows the character of the group that we have in our locker room.
Why, kind of big picture, is it important for guys like Keontae, Bryce, Zay to play with someone like Nurk?
I think Nurk gives us a little margin for error when it comes to creating the advantage. We talk about our offense kind of in 3 phases. There's create the advantage, keep the advantage, and make decisions. And Nurk really helps us with the first part, where our technique isn't always perfect with the ball. I think our young perimeter players, and Keontae probably gets highlighted the most, but they've gotten a lot better. But we still have some moments where it's imperfect, and Nurk cleans up a lot of those messes. He's one of, if not the best screener in the NBA. And so I think he gives those young guys a margin of error. And there's nothing like shooting an open shot. In the NBA, they're hard to come by, and Nurk helps us get a lot of them.
You've talked about it before this season already, but this is just another game highlighting Lowry's physicality and really getting to the rim. And he just mentioned, nights where shots aren't necessarily falling, that's a way he can do that. And what have you liked about his, not the use of his physicality, but more the intention of using it?
Yeah, he's done a really good job of picking his spots. We came into the season talking about him using his physicality more. And then about 10 games in, he and I had a conversation where I was like, dude, you're going to die if you keep going like this. You're just crashing into everyone. I remember our game at Detroit where he just drove the ball so hard into their bigs over and over again. And his intent was amazing, but he was beating himself to death. And so I think he's really done a great job of recognizing when to stop and shoot his mid-range, when to kind of do the mini bump and shoot his little turnaround, and when to play with extreme force downhill and try to play through the bump. It gives him a chance to get to the end with something left in the tank. But he continues to grow as a player. He continues to show that there's a bunch of different ways that he can impact the game offensively. And depending on matchup, his physicality is a real tool for us.
Lately there's been a lot of, especially fans comparing Keontae's season to Donovan Mitchell's third season, which was Donovan's first All-Star bid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering what you see as kind of like advantages or disadvantages of doing that kind of a comparison.
I believe I read somewhere that comparison is how you steal joy. Keontae's having a great season. Donovan is a heck of a player. Like, I have so much respect for him. The way he's carried himself during his career, the way that he plays, I mean, he's spectacular. But Keontae's running his race, and I think that has to be Keontae's focus. I recognize that our league is full of comparisons, and that's for other people to do. Fans can do those things if they like, and media can do those things if they like. But, my hope is that for us, like, we stay focused as a group and individually on what we have to do to continue to get better. I think that there's a little bit where that could make Keontae feel good because it's being compared in a positive way. But at the same time, I want Keontae to stay focused on just being Keontae.